Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're all here. First thing I want to do is just thank all the channel members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to thank any of you who come in to watch the content. Thank you, thank you. And if you're so inclined and haven't had a chance yet, if you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon, it will really help me out. So today we have got an interesting review of a knife that is an older out of production knife by my favorite USA manufacturer, TRM. And this is the TRM-ATLAS, which is a slip joint. And people are probably screaming at me now going, no, John, it's a double detent because it doesn't have a back spring. But we're going to look at that in a second. It's a slip joint. It is a small size knife that is very, very comfortable. It is, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, the first knife that TRM designed. So you got a half stop, full stop, or full open half stop, close. And if you'll notice the back spring there, there's a little bit of movement. Watch. Boom. Snaps. Movement. Snaps. And we're going to do a scale swap here in a second. That won't take but a second. And it'll show us what that back spring looks like. But TRM is known for making very thin, elegant, slicey little knives. And this little knife is titanium liners, titanium clip, 20 CV blade, G10 handles. We're going to throw some micarta scales on it here in a second. But let's get a piece of paper and let's see how slicey it is compared to some of our other TRMs that we have seen in the past. The angle of the blade for everyday cutting is awesome. It's a therapeutic slicer, like almost every TRM, but this one is even, I want to say, dare say, slicier. So a very slicey little knife, thin, light. I actually carry it like a slip joint. I don't carry it with the clip. I could take that clip off, but instead I just keep it in this slip like that, or like that, drop it in my pocket like a slip joint. I struggle with it under the camera. But it is a cool little knife. I came across it in a trade, in kind of a three-way trade. But let's do something real quick. Let's do a couple quick size comparisons. And then we're going to take the scales off so y'all can see how it works. About the same size as a Civivi Baby Banter. And about the same size, a little bit longer than a Sharpie. Good bit shorter than the Benchmade Bug Out. And the TRM Locking Nerd. It's just a little bit longer than the Nerd. So a small knife, fifth pocket knife. I call it a slip joint knife. So I think we have T6 hardware here. And I've got these scales that came on it. They are very dry, so I put some Wicked Wax, some of this that I use on my blades, on my finger, and have conditioned these micarta scales so hopefully the leather won't leach the color out and make them dry. But TRM scales, including the Atlas, are very easy to remove. The only trick is the clip side, because you've got a clip. And what I try to do because this is an early clip, is keep the screws in it. I don't always do that, but I try. Alright, so now that scale comes off. I'm going to take off this other scale, which is just going to require me popping these two screws off. And then we can look at this spring mechanism a little bit better because it's unique. Alright, so that is our little Atlas. Half stop, fully closed. You've got this in the titanium liner, you've got this spring. It is an actual double-sided spring. So when I go to open it, you see it go to half stop, snaps back into place. See how it's opened up there a little bit? Watch. Boom. So it is a traditional slip joint knife. No, you can't flick it, but I've been tempted to. I can flick it to half stop. But very thin, very, very slicey, and very cool. So let's take our micarta scales. Pop this one in. And if we can get one of our screws from our clip, we'll call that a victory. And we can take the other one. Let's get this lined up. And I'm going to do it over this way. Since I am under the camera. Alright, I'll slide that up. Clip down. Scale tight on that end. Whoops. Scale down, one more screw to go. Alright guys, so now we've got our little TRM-ATLAS perfectly centered. Little slip joint. Nice little choil. With our micarta scales. Put our G10s back in our bag. And let's get our tape measure. And we will get some quick measurements. Move my get good screw out of the way. Alright, so the little Atlas is going to be 5.5 inches overall. 2 1/4 inch blade. Over 3 1/4 inch handle into this choil from right here. You're at 3 1/4. You've got right over 2, maybe 2 1/8 inch cutting area. Nice little sharpening choil. You could always cut that in a little more if you needed to. But yeah, guys, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first knife TRM OEM made, you know, their knife, and it led to the TRM Nerd and Neutron, Atom. Blade thickness on this is a very thin 0.0925. Behind the edge thickness .0230. Handle thickness 0.3640, and the widest point, if you keep the clip on it, 0.6100. And the weight is going to be very light. Let's get our Javon scale. Guys, it weighs it at 1.95 ounces, which is very, very, very light. I have checked on TRM's website, and I don't see this knife in stock anymore. I've even reached out to them to see if they have additional scales. I don't think they do. I think they're all kind of out. They might make another run of them. They do that from time to time. That is it next to the Nerd. That's it next to my first TRM, the Neutron, and then the Atom's larger than that. I'll be doing a TRM dive coming up. I was kind of waiting for the Atlas to get in before I did that. But let's look at it next to some couple of just regular slip joints, one traditional U.S., a Great Eastern Cutlery, so you'll see it's a very small knife. And then this is the Jack Wolf low drag. So yeah, the Atlas is a little guy. It's going to be like we saw, right at 5.25 inches, right about the same size as our Civivi Baby Banter, and about the same size as our Sharpie. So Baby Banter, boom, next to the Atlas, right around the same size. But 20 CV, American made, TRM, fantastic knife. Super stoked that I was able to come across this knife. I was never able to find one in stock, but you never know what happens in trades. Was glad to get it. Big fan. Wanted to share it with you guys. So this is the TRM-ATLAS. Their only slip joint, and my understanding, Three Rivers Manufacturing's first knife. I'm a big fan. Guys, thank you for watching the content. If you're so inclined, again, analytics show most people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I totally get it. But it only takes a second if you hit that subscribe button. It does help my videos get seen by more people. But I'd really rather you just look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for one another. Go forward with love in your hearts. And always choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.